I'm not quite ready for spooky season. I'm not quite ready for pumpkins and ghosts, and I think that's pretty evident by the fact that it's like 90 degrees in Texas and I've got a tank top on. But I am starting to get there, slowly but surely, and I think a big sign of that is the fact that I really, really want to read some fantasy romance, romantasy, whatever you want to call it. And I will say my TBR, that sort of arena, is growing at a rapid pace. So I gotta read 3 of these today. Got to let you know if they're good. And I mean, maybe I can find a 5-star read. I don't always look for 5-star reads here on this channel, but sometimes I'm desperate for one, and today I am. So let me tell you about the 3 romantasy books we're going to be reading in this here video, and then we can get into it. First up, we have In the Veins of the Drowning. This one has been compared to Rachel Gillig's writing, and I really liked The Night and the Moth, so I'm hopeful that I will enjoy this book. It's supposed to be sort of like a spooky siren sort of vibe. I think our heroine is a siren, and she's trying to keep her powers and abilities to herself because they are a persecuted group in this particular fantasy book or fantasy world. And I believe our hero is a king of a rival country, and he eventually helps our heroine escape from the place that she's currently living. Things get a little bit steamy, I'm assuming. I mean, it's a romantic book, of course they're gonna get steamy. Next is one I might be the most excited for because I saw someone that I really respect their opinions say that they really enjoyed Forbidden Alchemy. This one is very different, and it's kind of giving Silver Elite vibes just a little bit in the synopsis. Got a heroine who really wants to get into a magical school. She finds out early on in the story that the people who try to get into this magical school are not exactly born with abilities and, you know, plucked from obscurity, but in fact they are chosen, and so the elite remain the elite for many, many, many years, if not into eternity, because they have been given some like magic potion, I guess, to give them magical abilities, and everybody else mines rocks and minerals and stuff that I guess give people these magical abilities. So we've got like field magic and who do cool things with it, and then you've got the people in the mines. Very excited to give this one a go. Candidly, I've already started this book and I have already finished In the Veins of the Drowning, so we're gonna see kind of like past me talk in the next clip. But the next book, the last book that I'm going to be reading, is Book of Heartbreak. This one is really appealing to me because it's based on a Middle Eastern legend, which I love. I love when romantasy books are not just like Sarah J. Maas ripoffs. This one is about our main character, and I'm not sure how we say her name. I don't know if it's Sarah or Sare. There's a curse on her that she will die after her 5th heartbreak, already on her 4th heartbreak, and in the midst of trying to kind of find out more about her mom who's just passed away, he also finds out more about the curse that's on her. She starts falling in love, and she's like, oh my god, I'm falling in love. This can't be my 5th heartbreak, okay? So things are probably going to be really wild. Very excited to give all of these books a go. I'm hoping that we can find something good, but before we get into it, I have to tell you about something that is not good, and that would be calls and texts from scammers and spammers, which is something that I felt like I was dealing with so much over the past couple of years until I started using the sponsor of today's video, Aura. Ever wondered how scammers get your number or email in the first place? It's because companies called data brokers sell our data. They do it without our consent, and they make billions selling it to scammers, spammers, and literally anyone who wants our information. And data brokers are legally required to remove your information if you ask, but they make it incredibly hard to do so. Not to mention the fact that there are hundreds of data brokers online with your information, which is why I recommend Aura to literally everyone. They take care of the hard part, the automatic removal of your info from these sites, and they make sure it stays off of those sites, which is super important to me because our data is literally leaked every single day, and I feel like it's something that a lot of us have gotten desensitized to. It's like my phone carrier had a data breach, or my credit card company had a data breach. It kind of feels like it shouldn't matter, or like, oh, it's just everybody's data is out there, so it doesn't matter, until it starts affecting you, until people start trying to like open accounts in your name. Something that's happened to me, and it's something that I take really personally, which Aura gets. Aura is all-in-one digital security. You get alerts if your personal information is found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, 24/7 monitoring to keep your identity secure, a secure antivirus, VPN, password manager, and US-based support available 24/7 in case something goes wrong. If anything does go wrong, Aura includes $5 million in identity theft insurance protection, US fraud experts available to help 24/7. Aura for free for 14 days by going to aura.com/chandler.ainsley. Those 2 weeks you'll discover where your data is being exposed and sold. I'm not leaving myself vulnerable, and you shouldn't either. Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Let's get cracking on some fantasy romance, and let's find something good. All right, my friends, if you can hear what sounds like sizzling fajitas downstairs, that's actually Hayden cooking us chicken Alfredo. Could tear up just thinking about it. I'm freaking starving, but I wanted to give you my 20-30-ish% thoughts on In the Veins of the Drowning. This has been compared to Rachel Gillig's writing and Rachel Gillig books, and I have to say, I can kind of agree with that, okay? Our main character, Imogen, is a siren, and she is trying to keep this information within herself and not let other people know, because in this society, if you're a siren, you're gonna get you know? The king, whose kingdom she is a part of, who's kind of an evil guy, but like she's a ward of his, I think he might know that she is a siren, but he is trying to kind of marry her off to, I think, one of his king's guard. Plan gets foiled because our heroine's like, oh shit, this guy has some evil dastardly plans for me. I want to get away from him, and I meet a really handsome prince, and I kind of want to blood bond with him instead. And like, he can also get me the fuck out of here. So that's what happens. There's a lot of shit that happens, I would say, in this first 30%, and I don't want to spoil it. All of this is in the synopsis of the book, okay? I'm gonna not spoil any of these books for you, but there are a lot of like kind of court politic-y things and magic system-y kind of things that happen in this first 30%, sort of setting the groundwork for what we were dealing with here. But there's this idea of blood bonding, which can essentially keep a siren's powers at bay and keep her bloodlust and her wings and her claws and talons and whatever like at bay. That's what we're trying to do right now. Yeah, we don't necessarily want that coming out. She gets blood bonded to the guy who's like, you know what? This might fuck up my entire kingdom, but I'm gonna take you with me. I'm gonna blood bond to you. Let's get out of here. They have blood bonded. He has in fact taken her out of there. I feel like I'm not doing a great job describing this book. My apologies. I feel like it's not that exciting, this first 20-30%, but audiobook narration is great. The overall vibe is very Rachel Gillig, right? So if that's your thing, I think you might enjoy this. I'm not quite as intrigued as I was with like The Night and the Moth. This is a different author, right? Somebody, I read a Goodreads review. Someone was like, oh, this is definitely doing for me what The Night and the Moth didn't. And I'm like, okay, can't relate. I did like that book. Curious about this one. I am curious. I don't love our heroine. I think that's the main thing that I'm feeling at this 30% mark is he's a little bit irritating. I think her asking this man who she doesn't know really to take her away and to like potentially ruin his own life by taking her away. Selfish for sure. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but she's just kind of irritating. She's a little whiny. I don't really know what else to say. She's whiny. I don't really like some of her actions so far. I've definitely read worse heroines, so, you know, I'm open to this story. I'm open to this plot line. I'm sort of curious where we're gonna go from here because, again, we've taken this woman from her kingdom. She's going to a rival kingdom. I just want to know what she's going to do there. Like, where is this book heading? Because it's not clear from the synopsis, and kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. I don't think the first 20% of this book, candidly, is enough to make me like, oh shit, what's coming next? We're gonna figure out what's coming next, okay? I'm not hating it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But she needs to get less annoying, and I need more things to happen. So we're on a fucking boat, and I'm like, okay, get off the goddamn boat. Potentially the saddest and worst update I could ever make, but I am apparently really bad at media management. I filmed, think 2 clips, maybe just 1 clip, but I don't know where they are. And so what you're going to hear from me now is my final thoughts on In the Veins of the Drowning and my 20-ish, 30-ish% thoughts on Forbidden Alchemy. Now, what's really disappointing about this is that I have a pretty bad memory for fantasy, romance, romantasy, whatever you'd like to call it, on a good day. It's especially not great when the book that I finish is not very memorable. But I think that actually tells you what you kind of need to know about In the Veins of the Drowning. This book proceeds in a way that I just didn't vibe with. The initial vibes were so good. I liked this sort of melancholy siren. I mean, I keep saying vibes, but the whole thing about this book is the vibes, I think. The plot was not something I was particularly interested in or intrigued by. I also saw many reviews for this book saying that the hero is pathetic and they love him. And I don't know that I find him pathetic in the way that other people do. And I think I have a direct comparison now because I just read Heartless Hunter. Now that is a pathetic man. That is a pathetic self-loathing man who I like, personally. Theodore, I believe his name is in this book, really come off as pathetic to me. He was very gone with our heroine and he was trying to do what he could to appease her and make her happy. It just never really landed for me. So our heroine, I do remember, goes across the sea with our hero. She gets to this land and she's in sort of a weird position because she's blood bonded to this gentleman. She is trying to figure out what this means for her. Is this an actual marriage? Like, what is there? She finds out he's actually engaged to someone else. And so a good portion of this book is spent with a will they, won't they between hero and heroine. She thinks that he will abandon potential bride, doesn't immediately, and that just becomes a situation that instead of being one conflict and, oh, yearning and pining moment, I just felt like our heroine is incredibly whiny. Our hero just wasn't really willing to like stand on business, either in telling our heroine to like fuck off or standing up for her and like making her his bride. It's pretty frustrating. And then there's a final showdown at the end of the book that I don't want to go into too much detail about, but I think we all kind of see where the culmination of this plotline is going. We have the evil king coming to this land and there is a lot there. Not only do we get him kind of trying to get the siren back, sort of, there's like a whole showdown. We also learn so much about the fantasy, about the magic system, about the legends and the premonitions, etc., etc. I found it a little bit overwhelming and a little bit info dumpy. I know that there's a second book and it's setting us up for that second book, but it didn't feel like a smooth transition or a smooth reveal of information. So I wasn't a huge fan of this one. I'm just gonna leave this one here. 3 stars. I did like the hero. I think he was the shining bright point of the story. Harlan was pretty irritating though, and by the end of the book, I wasn't intrigued enough to pick up the second. So I think if you are a fan of Rachel Gillig, perhaps this could be a story for you. I just was not personally entranced by either the relationship or the fantasy elements. And I think that's mostly because I think I'm sort of over the idea of prophecy in stories. I'm not saying that's always a bad element, but I find it to be often lazy storytelling when we've got a prophecy involved. It's just where I'm at. Okay, can I talk about something I actually like? Forbidden Alchemy. Oh my god. Good food. Good food, finally! This is far and away probably the best thing I'm going to read in this video. I mean, prayers, hopes and prayers that the third book is great too, but this is a standout, okay? This book is about Nina and Patrick. Nina really wants to get out of her hometown. In the society, you've got miners and you've got artisans. Artisans have magical abilities to craft things, to kind of make things out of nothing. You can wield elemental magic, you can be sort of an inventor, you can be kind of like a magical, I was gonna say newspaper person, magical reporter. There's a lot of different skills that artisans can go into, okay? We've got miners and we've got artisans. Now, our heroine comes from a mining town, and so does our hero. At 12 years old in the society, everybody has to go to the city center, the capital city, and find out if they are going to be artisans or if they are going to be miners. Now, I'm told, or everybody believes, that everyone has the capability or the potential to be an artisan. And you are going to take a potion and it is going to tell you if you are an artisan, if you have these latent magical abilities that just haven't awoken or been awakened. Now, our hero and our heroine overhear someone basically saying, make sure you don't mix up the vials. And they're like, okay, what the fuck does this mean? They learn everyone actually not only has the potential to be an artisan, but anyone could be an artisan, essentially. The potions are what reveals this, but basically, children of miners, M-I-N-E-R-S, I feel like I need to point out, not M-I-N-O-R-S, they get the anti-magic potion, or the potion that does not, reveal magical abilities. So this class separation, this class divide is never going to be broken, because it's like the elite are going to continue to be elite and their children are going to have access to the magical potion that reveals their abilities. No one's supposed to know this, because no one would agree to a society like this, right? Where you are stuck doing grueling manual labor and your family members never have the opportunity to potentially have a better life for themselves, right? Instantly intriguing. This is in the synopsis of the book, I should say. I'm not spoiling anything, but our heroine finds this out and she still becomes an artisan anyway. Patrick goes back to his hometown. He decides to do things a little bit differently. Flash forward quite a few years. Heroine, I believe, is like 18. She's graduating. She has her artisan skills going on, and she's being pulled in a bunch of different directions in terms of her career. Because she is the only miner, basically, to become an artisan, he has to kind of like keep this under wraps, because if anyone found out that like she didn't have, aristocratic blood, or if she like wasn't from a line of artisans, she would get in trouble. So she's feeling like she doesn't have a lot of control over her future. People are pulling her into a ton of different directions, and they're asking her to come do certain things because she actually has a ton of abilities. She's an earth wielder, I believe, since the potion that reveals the magical abilities and actually helps fuel the magical abilities is mined from the earth. Earth abilities are important. Anyway, upon graduation, there is a big explosion, and we find out that the miners are rising up in revolt, and they are not happy with how society is. Our heroine, before she can make a decision on where she wants to spend her time, if she wants to go into government, if she wants to try to run away, she ends up getting captured and kidnapped by Patrick, who, again, she met when she was 12 years old, and he wants to use her for her abilities. For Patrick's part, he is almost kind of a Peaky Blinders style mob boss of his own town. Did not come from the same town that our heroine did, but a mining town. And whenever she is kidnapped and taken there, she is amazed by the fact that this place is really nice, and it seems like there are artisans working there to a steam-powered train, other technological advances that some of these other places don't have, that the main capital city doesn't even have. And she's just amazed by his ability to do this, to be this cunning, and to build a whole fucking city himself. I mean, there's other people there helping, obviously, but he has a vision, and he is not cool with the class divide. Even when he was 12, he was not cool with the class divide. And so they're having to work together. And our heroine is in, again, kind of a weird situation, because the people in charge, the artisans, are obviously not in the right. And she doesn't necessarily want to do the things that they want her to do. But she also doesn't love the fact that these people are rising up in revolt and have killed some of her friends and family. So she's in sort of a weird situation. She's also finding herself very attracted to Patrick. She's not loving being captive. I'm just so captivated by the story, okay? I've been telling you so much about the plot, but I mean, the plot of this is fascinating, and I don't want to spoil it because I do want you to pick it up on your own. This is mostly all in the synopsis, so I'm not really spoiling anything for you, but what I find so compelling about this is that the story knows what it is from the beginning. I think there are very few books that do this whole, not dystopian romance thing, but this whole revolutionary overthrow of the government thing in a way that I find compelling. It seems to be an afterthought often in a fantasy romance, and this is like front and center. This is what the author is intending to do. And I find it so well done and so fun to read, and the audiobook is phenomenal. Everybody's got accents. I'm winning. I'm winning today. I win most days, you know, because this is my job and I get to do what I love. But I'm especially winning today because the book that I'm reading is a good one. Honestly, the reason I wanted to film this clip in the first place is so I could continue with the book. Little did I know that I had lost a couple of clips in the meantime, but I think I was able to get across my feelings regardless. I think it's okay. But just know that first book, it was okay. It was fine. This book, I like it. I'm liking it a lot. God, I wish I could recall for the life of me which of my Instagram friends said this book was a must read. You were totally right. This is like genuinely so fun. Compelling, interesting, cool characters, cool setup, cool world. The only complaint that I have, and this is something that I don't think I've said yet, is that we do have another potential love interest, which is our heroine's childhood friend, kind of childhood friend. She meets someone in the Artisan Academy. She has been friends with this person for a very long time. They are, however, a part of the government, and I think their dad is like the head honcho of the artisans. And so he has not been able to get out from under his father's thumb, and he has been encouraging our heroine to like follow in his footsteps and like do the same things as him. He's also not really willing to claim our heroine publicly, so it makes things a little bit complicated. I think what I would have liked is if he was a true potential love interest, which I think we all know at this point he's not actually, like it's going to be Patrick. I think it would have been cool to see more of that relationship being built. We do see them like make out, I guess, and our heroine feeling like tingly in her center or whatever when they kiss upon graduation, but like I don't know. I think I needed a little bit more build up there. I am glad that I remembered to tell you about him though, because I'm sure he's going to be a fucking menace and a nuisance. And I can't recall at this point if we've seen him again, but I do think that he is going to come looking for our heroine again. And I mean, it says it in the synopsis, so I'm not telling you things that you shouldn't know, but I wonder how annoying he's gonna be. Okay, so things are definitely heating up in A Forbidden Alchemy. Surprised at how many things are taking me by surprise. They're not like shocking revelations or twists, but I think this author is pretty skillful at revealing information over the course of the story. Now, I will say, listening to it via audio, this particular book does sometimes make for a touch of confusion from time to time, because we'll get these scenes, and if you're not totally plugged in to if it's a flashback or not, I think sometimes it can be sort of confusing, especially considering the timeline is a little murky when it comes to the explosion that happened and the time between our heroine getting kidnapped by Patrick. I think that that's done intentionally because we are, again, like unfolding the information of what happened in the meantime, but I think that is mostly what is interesting to me at this point. The thing that I'm not like obsessed with is sort of what we're doing at the moment. Our heroine is helping our hero out. He has tasked her with helping free his father. His father's like imprisoned by the artisans and that regime, but our heroine wants to help, but also is being tasked with kind of being duplicitous. And while on paper that sounds cool and interesting, the day-to-day activities that we're kind of dealing with in this 50% mark of the book, I'm not like wowed by. I'm sort of like, okay, like can we move in a direction that is fascinating? Like can we get to the city and free this guy? Can we have like a big bad come out from nowhere and kind of fuck things up? I just feel like we're sort of in a little bit of stasis, and I think that it's disappointing considering that the first part of the book I felt like had good movement. Another thing that I think is sort of interesting is Theodore's character. That is our heroine's like childhood-ish friend. He is very much present in a way that I was not expecting. I really thought that he would like come in like a white knight trying to save our heroine from this town that she's stuck in, but that's not the case at all. And that was definitely an interesting twist. He is kind of a bitter, I don't want to say mean guy, but like he's definitely not what I was expecting. I mean, I didn't expect him to be like the love interest necessarily. It sort of feels like he's being set up to be a villain, which I kind of like, but like, can we get there quicker? I don't know. Just a little bit bored right now. I'm not upset at this book. I'm convinced enough that it's good, but I need a little bit more. That's kind of how I felt when I was reading Heartless Hunter, the second book, Rebel Witch. It didn't live up to the hype for me in terms of it being better than Heartless Hunter or as good, but it wasn't a bad book. It's just like the middle was kind of like, okay, like I know we're gonna get somewhere interesting eventually, but like can we get there quicker, because the interim is not the most thrilling. So anyway, I'm gonna finish this, I guess, and then I will give you my final thoughts and feelings. It feels weird to be so far in this book. and not have a ton concrete to say, but I am enjoying it. Oh, one last thing. I think that I said that I enjoyed the audiobook of this. Do like the accents that are done. I think that they fit the characters very well, but I think that narrator for the heroine articulating certain phrases and certain moments in sort of more of a breathy, whiny way than I would have read those moments had I been reading the book physically, if that makes sense. I feel like I notice that from time to time via audiobook, that I think the heroine and or the character is not actually that irritating, but the way that they're being voiced, I think makes them or lends a more irritating tone to their speech. So I don't know. I can't tell for sure, but that's kind of something that I'm dealing with right now. Okay, I finished it, and I think I liked it. I think I'd probably give this like 3.5, 4 stars. I do think that the plot sort of picks up as we get going from the 50% mark, okay? I do kind of wish that we had had a little bit more excitement leading up to the sort of wild cliffhanger ending that we had, but I am still intrigued. Like, I do kind of want to know where the story goes, and I wasn't convinced when I last updated you that that was going to be the case. I sort of thought, okay, I'm gonna finish this book, I'm gonna enjoy it, but it's not gonna be something that like I want to pick up the next book in the series. I kind of do want to pick up the next book in the series. I don't know what to tell you about this without spoiling it, so I'm going to err on the side of caution and basically just let you know that tensions sort of come to a head. The two guys fighting for our heroine's affection, I don't want to say go at each other, but like they have a bit of a conflict. One of the guys betrays the other guy, but like kind of, and things get really explosive and wild from there. I think the only thing I'm a little confused by is the fact that Hero was like kind of mean to our heroine at the end, and it felt like one of those situations. Here's the thing, I feel like Romantasy books end in one of a couple of ways, and one way that I see Romantasy books end very often is hero and heroine get together in the first book, and then by the end of the book there is some sort of betrayal or a secret kept or something to where it's pulling these two apart. Not physically pulling them apart, that's another way that people tend to finish off their books in a fantasy series, but like emotional betrayal and we are no longer romantically involved, but we want to get back to each other. Or one of the characters might want to get back to the other. In this case, the hero's pissed off and the heroine's like, oh my god, no, he's like my true love. So that is sort of where we're left with this book. And I don't think if that's a spoiler to you, I'm sorry. That's just letting you know kind of the direction, what are spoilers? What is plotline of a book? How does one talk about a book? That is really questions I ask myself when I talk about romantasy and mystery thriller, because y'all have strong opinions on how I share. I liked this. I thought this was fun. The motivations of the characters are both clear and also there's a lot of duplicity going on, and I liked that. I thought that was pretty interesting. I do think our heroine, once she finally gets with our hero, gets a little annoying, but like here, you know what? I'm not gonna nitpick. I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. I'm gonna tell you to go out and pick it up because it was a fun time. Hats off to this author for like having a clear vision and really sticking to it. I've really been eating good because again, I read or reread Heartless Hunter, and then I read Rebel Witch, and then I just read this book, and I'm thriving. If you want to see my thoughts and feelings on that other one, by the way, it's available over on Patreon. You can either buy the video separately, you can subscribe to my Patreon, or if you're a YouTube person, channel memberships, you can check out my videos here. If you ever go to my channel page, you might see the channel member exclusive videos kind of peppered in with the other videos. I post 2 of them a month. There's content for you to have fun with and enjoy if you want to sign up for that. I would recommend actually going on Patreon and subscribing, but also channel memberships is there for you if you'd like to. I'm not trying to plug it. I mean, I am, but like, I was just letting you know. If you want my thoughts and feelings on those books, you can go find them. Let's go ahead and get started on the Book of Heartbreak, though. Candidly, I am starting this book later than I wanted to today because I've had the day from hell. I've been dealing with a freight company, and if you've ever dealt with a freight company before, you get my pain. It has been a fucking nightmare. The amount of researching of phone numbers and transferring of calls has been more than one can really handle. You want the good news or the bad news first? Good news is that I'm burning a leaves candle in here and it smells like fall. Bad news is that I'm DNFing a book. That makes this vlog slightly less interesting. Not really, because this book is in fact interesting and I do have things to say about it, even though it's not really working for me. So the Book of Heartbreak, I feel that the synopsis does not encompass or capture the overall essence and vibe of this book. And I feel like rarely can a synopsis really do that. I think for the last book that we read, it would not have picked up on the Peaky Blinders, Disney's Holes vibes that are going on. Like we're digging in the earth and we're mining, and I don't know, I don't feel like that was really captured in the synopsis, which wasn't a bad thing, right? Now in this book, in the Book of Heartbreak, I feel like the vibe's not captured, but unfortunately I think that the synopsis made this book sound a lot more lyrical and promising than it actually is. For some reason it was kind of giving like, is it the Wrath and the Dawn vibes? I was like, okay, cool, like Middle Eastern legends, myth, and retelling, and okay, cool. Like, that's sort of the vibe I was getting from the synopsis of this book. It is not that. Though I think the setting was probably going to get more beautiful maybe as the book carried on, fingers crossed. So the book's about our main character named Sare, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not listening to audiobook. I was trying to physically read this. I did pay 14 physical dollars for this book. Anyway, our main character, her mother passes away at the very beginning of this story. And as I think I kind of said in the beginning of this video when I was telling you about this book, the idea is that after 5 heartbreaks before the age of 18, our heroine dies because of a curse that has been placed on her. We don't really have any context to why this curse was placed, anything about the magic of curses in this particular world, but we are privy to, I guess, the angelic hierarchy a little bit. Heroine is like walking through life trying to avoid heartbreak, right? Her mom has passed away. She is trying to figure out what to do before her 18th birthday. Her maternal grandfather comes by and is like, hey, I'm here to take you with me to Istanbul. I know you're living in the UK, but come with me. And she's like, my mom told me you were dead, that y'all had a falling out. And he's like, yeah, we had a falling out, but like, come with me. And she's like, I guess, okay, sure, sounds good. And along the way, through all of this, she is accompanied by her, not fairy godmother, but someone from the afterlife who is looking over her and kind of counseling her on how to avoid heartbreak. Like, oh, don't waste your tears, avoid heartbreak at all costs. Like, she's got a list of things that she is supposed to do. And we're also getting correspondence thrown into the book. Like, the first thing that you read is actually an email, which I wasn't expecting from a book with this kind of cover and like this vibe, right? Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be this like lush, beautiful romantasy. It's not really giving romantasy, it's giving contemporary romance with like a magical twist. Anyway, there's an email. The first thing that we read is an email where someone is getting bitched at for not looking over our heroine good enough, and there's continuing correspondence between the person that's looking over our heroine and is like kind of friends with her, but no one else can see her, whoever's like higher up in the angelic hierarchy. Then we meet a boy who can actually see heroine's like fairy godmother type person, and she's like, oh my god, wait, you can see her? And he's like, yeah, I'm a seer, and I guess there are people who can see this magic, and I think this person's going to like be the romantic love interest and is going to help her figure out her curse. Writing is not it for me. The vibes are not matching what I feel promised, but beyond that, the writing is really not it for me. Not lush and lyrical and descriptive. It is tell and not show. Heroine has ostensibly been through multiple heartbreaks, and by the way, when her heart breaks, she dies for a little bit. I felt no emotion when this is being told to me. I was like, okay, I'm reading like a summary of life rather than getting to see it unfold before me. I feel like I haven't had this issue in such a long time. Pops up, I'm like, what in the fuck's going on? I don't know if my critiques here are really landing, but I'd love for anyone to pick up this book and let me know what your thoughts and feelings are, because I saw one DNF review for this book on Goodreads, but it seems like everybody else has ranked this or rated this like 4 or 5 stars. So I'm wondering what I'm missing. I don't want to go so far as to say I feel gaslit. I am just a little perplexed by this one. Frankly, I don't get it. And maybe it is phenomenal, but I'm just struggling with writing so much, and I'm already not having a great day. So why push myself to finish something that I'm like not obsessed with? You know? I feel like that leaves me in a weird place with this vlog. I had one book that was okay. I had a book that I quite enjoyed, and then I had a DNF. You know, honestly, I think that this was a mostly pretty successful video, and I'm being quite good about it. I feel like that's always the reflection I have at the end of these like 3-book romantasy kind of vlogs. It's like some stuff worked and some stuff didn't, and I had a good time. It's a little contrived at this point, does it not? But genuinely, I did have a good time, and I am excited to be able to recommend to y'all like a new fantasy romance series to get into. Definitely check out Forbidden Alchemy. I think that y'all are going to really enjoy it, especially again if you like really like Peaky Blinders or you like that kind of revolutionary uprising sort of vibe in your books. I think you're really gonna like this. Not parallel necessarily in vibes to Silver Elite, but I do think that it works with this idea of revolution a little bit better. So anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts and feelings are on any of them, and also what has been your favorite romantasy of this year. You know what I would really love to do is read your favorite romantasy books before the year is up. So you let me know which ones that you have been obsessed with, especially, you know, if it's underrated. I would love to know that as well. But love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one.